This is Top Shop Podcast.
Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
Well, welcome to another edition of Top Shop Podcast. Now, if you're recognizing this face again, yes, Mary Ann Croce is on two podcasts. And here's why. The first podcast that we did, if you've already seen that on our channel or channels, was for Croce's transmission specialist, because Mary Ann runs a very successful, with her husband Tony, transmission repair shop. And for 25 years, she's been in the industry. So as you know, one of the main criteria to be a guest on Top Shop Podcast as a shop owner is over 10 years in the business. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that one, because she's got some great advice for running an auto repair shop and staying in business. But the reason for the second podcast is Mary Ann Croce. This is how I originally found her. I saw Mary Ann on the ASA's website, and I started reading some of her articles, and I thought, wow, this would be a great person to have on my podcast. So this is the podcast that I originally thought about doing, because 7 years ago, Mary Ann created Small Biz Vantage, and this is a coaching agency. So now I just talked to somebody the other day, a successful shop owner that had been in business 30 years, and I asked him, what's the one piece of advice that you would give to, or I said, just what advice would you give to the aspiring shop owner or the tech that just started his own shop? And he thought for a second. He said, get a coach. And that solved all the other things, because the coach will tell you to get a good digital marketing agency. The coach will tell you to get training. The coach will tell you everything you need. And he also said that in his 30 years of experience, he noticed that the shops that do well from the get-go get a coach. Well, imagine that. Instead of trying to figure all this stuff out on our own by trial and error, you actually have somebody who's already been there and can guide you. So, Mary Ann, why don't you tell us, quick about, the transmission and how you decided to start Small Biz Vantage. What was the deciding factors that you said, hey, I can reach out to other owners and provide this service to them? So tell us a little bit about Small Biz Vantage and how the seed popped into your brain one day. Were you in the shower? Would you stub your toe? So tell us.
How did it all happen? Yeah, we all have a journey. Thanks so much for having me back again on the show. I really love this. This is such a great group, automotive shop owners and people in the automotive industry. So what had happened to me is probably very typical that happens to a lot of shop owners. There were challenges that I faced at being a shop owner. And one of my biggest ones was I felt that I needed to become a better owner. In that role, I was hiring people, for jobs, different positions, roles within the company. And there were different things that I said that I needed to get better at. And I said, I really want to become the best type of owner that I could be. So I decided to actually go outside of the industry and take some training, do some training and get some coaching on really being an owner and being a leader, because I thought that that's really where the magic was going to be. And it worked out really well for me. It not only made a difference in my business, it helped me with a goal that I had. And I didn't say it out loud to many people, but I actually wanted to become dispensable. I wanted to see my business as something separate from me. Mm-hmm. So this training that I did outside of the industry really helped me with that. And I really got involved with it so much that I actually took some coaching myself to be a certified coach and work on that leadership. So I was able to bring that into my business, and I was speaking at different industry events. I didn't have to be inside my business on the day-to-day all the time. I was able to step away and take more time at working on the business instead of in it. So I got involved in the industry and people started asking me to speak. So I created a system that worked for us and worked for, others as well. And I said, you know what? It's time that I start sharing it. And that's really how I started Small Biz Vantage. When we look at the automotive industry, most of us shop owners are considered small businesses. So Small Biz Vantage Vantage meaning the way that you look at things, the way you see things, your perspective. When you change that, you actually change your actions and you change the results that you get.
Also, so when you said an owner, I'm assuming that means you want to work on your shop, not in your shop.
Right. I didn't want to be having to feel like, yes, going 24/7, putting out fires. I felt like I needed to become better at my role in navigating through all of that and empowering others. So to me, that was more of a leadership type skill.
Sure.
And that's what I stepped outside of the industry. I got a lot of good information from coaches that are in the industry. I would consider them peers. We collaborate, we talk on a regular basis. I have really good relationships with them, but I was looking for something even more.
Right. Okay. So that would be basically that's why you started small business.
That's why I started it, to be able to share that and really help
So,
other shop owners.
so what makes your coaching approach as small Vantage unique compared to like because there is like you said a lot of other
Yeah,
coaches and
there are.
there's
Yeah.
huge companies and then there's people that individuals like you that work one on one. So
So I think the biggest difference for me, what makes me a little bit unique, is that I am currently a shop owner. I've been a shop owner for since 99, so 25 years as of today, and I'm in it. Right? I stepping outside of the industry was really huge for me, but what I can do is I can bring what I learned and apply it to the industry. I can bring outside skills and coaching inside the industry, which I think is really good. But me still being a shop owner and going through all of the same things that owners are going through, I think is definitely an advantage.
okay, that's for sure. So who's your ideal client? I mean, if I'm looking for coaching as an auto repair shop owner, when we, if you look at other competitors, in the industry, I like to collaborating with my competitors also. Most of them are always, oh, we'll do a free, digital thing. No, we don't do that because that requires actually a lot of time. We do a discovery call first and just
Mhm.
ask them, what are your goals? What are your current revenues? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be doing in 10 years? Do you have an exit strategy? And we see if they're a fit for us. So like for you, I would imagine you don't want to work with every type of auto repair shop that's out there. Who is your ideal customer?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked. So all right, I'm a niche within a niche.
Oh,
So my ideal client is actually single location auto shop owners.
okay.
And the reason why I chose this group is because there's really top three challenges that I see repeatedly that they have. Even, clients, but also people that I meet at different industry events and we start chatting and talking, and just from different networking groups that I'm in. And the top three challenges that they're facing have to do with either people, process, or profit. That's what I find. Now, an example of people might be the culture in their shop or hiring. They look at these things as external types of challenges that they're having. Process, when you think of that, it's the expectations that they're setting for their team or the actual processes that they have in their shop. Are they working? Are they not working? Is everyone following them? And then lastly, profit. A lot of times it's really about understanding and knowing the financials in their business so that they can make better business decisions. So when I talk to them, they usually fall into one of those three challenges or even a combination.
Okay, all right. How do you help auto shop owners? Because those are three very distinct challenges. Can you give us a little specifics on those three and how it
Sure.
helps change their personal life? You know?
Yeah. So I created a framework that I call 3-day weekend system. And this is for the shop owners. And, single location shop owners don't have that huge team that multiple shop locations owners have, where they'll have managers in each location. They might even have like a district manager. Smaller shops, single location shops don't have that. Even if they're a big shop, they're all in one place. Everyone's in one place. So this 3-day weekend system really helps these owners stop going 24/7. You know what it's like to feel like you're going 24/7?
So,
So, it affects when you go home. It affects when
right.
you're at work. And the idea is it's very simple with 3-day weekend system. It's gain 10 hours a week in 90 days. So can you imagine what it would be like if you had 10 hours more a week every week going forward? And once you do that, right, then you go beyond.
Right.
And you just continue that.
So keep teaching them how to delegate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really getting comfortable so that you're not being the person that is wearing all the hats in your shop anymore. You've stopped that. You've stopped really going by your gut when it comes to financials and having to wait to get reports or having to wait for someone to tell you what's going on with your business. It's perfectly fine. I suggest, you having an accountant, of course. Some people even have a bookkeeper if they don't have someone on staff, and that's fine. But being able to get to your numbers right away and understand and know them so that you can make more informed decisions, better decisions quicker. So those are some of the examples. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all shops need to know their numbers. So I'm sure finances is one of the more important things that you go over. What you just described called 10 extra, that requires mind shift, right? What mindset shifts do your clients need to make in their current roles as business leaders, and so they can achieve more success at their shop and have more of that free time for
Yeah.
personal life, that work-life balance? That was one of the questions I always ask. I asked you that in our first interview. It's one of my standard questions. How do you
Yeah.
work life? And a lot of shop owners just grin when I ask them that one. Uh,
Well,
uh,
it's
so
yeah, it's a
what
difficult
work-life balance?
it's a difficult one because so many shop owners, and I have to include Tony and I in this, ourselves in it too. You have all this grit and drive and energy when you open up your shop, and you're so passionate and excited about this new venture in your life that it's easy to fall into these traps where you're going to either be the person wearing all the hats, you're guessing at this financials because you don't know, or you end up being the go-to person. Now you have a team and you're the go-to person. Everything is getting directed towards you. So you kind of fall into these traps, and they're habits and routines that we create in the early stages, and then it's hard to break away from them. So what happens is this shift in thinking is when they start really owning their role and they understand what the behavior is supposed to be, what their role is as an owner, and they stop going back to that comfort zone that they have. You really, that's the magic that happens. It not only affects the business and empowering your team, because here's the thing, your team is watching you. You're an owner, and they're watching you all the time. They're watching how you show up. They're watching how you speak to other people. They're watching your behaviors. They're watching you all the time. So you need to be an example of the behavior that you want. And this really helps personally and professionally. And when owners have that shift, they'll even tell me that things even at home got better as well. They make these changes in their business, and home is better as well, because our home life affects work and work affects home. Because you can go home and your partner, your family, your spouse can turn around and say, "Hey, you must have had a bad day." They can just tell. And when you go into work or a team member comes into work, you could even say, "Hey, is everything okay at home? You just seem a little bit off." So sometimes we think we can separate them completely, but it shows up. One shows up and one affects the other.
Sure. Yeah, I was first made aware of that when I was reading books years ago, and they used the law enforcement as an example. Because that's a tough one. You go out and you deal with the dregs of society sometimes all day long, and then you're supposed to come back and instantly be, cheery the moment you open the door when you go home. and it doesn't work that way. Or you have a miserable work life at the office, and then you're supposed to immediately separate that when you come home. It doesn't work that way. So
It's hard, but
it,
when you can help people make that mindset shift, and I can give them tools and techniques to help with that, it really helps them with fulfillment, right? What I call work-life fulfillment, where they're fulfilled at work and they feel like they're getting everything that they need from work, and they're also fulfilled at home, and they're both rewarding.
speaking of tools and things, when we take on a client, they want we got to show them quick wins. We got to, and which is pretty easy for us because a lot of auto repair shops, they don't do any internal marketing with their current client list. No problem. We can increase most company sales 10 to 20% just by marketing to their current client base. What are some of the ways that you get like quick wins so you can provide auto shop owners, uh, so they can see the implementation of this improvement immediately to improve
Right.
operations and, of course, their work-life balance. That's one of the biggest reasons that they're hiring the coach. And I'm glad that you focus on the work-life balance because I think a lot of coaches, a lot of auto repair shop owners are you coach me on how I can make more money and get more cars in and stuff like that, where they're not thinking holistically like you are. Okay, yeah, you want to have a good shop that runs, but you also want to have a good work-life balance also. So do you have
Yeah.
any of tools or techniques that you can come in and take on a single auto repair shop owner as a client, and should you determine they're a good fit for you, and provide some quick wins for them?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So what happens a lot of times is it's always based around some kind of a number, whatever it is, whatever their goal is, and they'll come to me, and they'll decide, what that goal is, what they want to achieve, or the challenge that they're having right now, and they tell me the main thing that they're surprised about when they start gaining back this time that sometimes they're like, this is time I never had, is not only are they not exhausted when they go home, they're actually fueled. So we have that part where their personal life is definitely affected. That's a win for them. But a lot of them are like, okay, Mary Ann, what do I do now? I'm gaining back time and I'm so used to going all the time. I don't want to go in and start micromanaging. I don't want to go in and start, what do I actually do with my time? So some of the quick wins that they come up with is now they're actually taking on more strategic activities in their business. They're doing new things, and these are actually revenue generating activities that they didn't see as revenue generating activities, such as now they have time to get involved with a local chamber or a BNI group or some type of an organization that they're involved with locally, or they didn't have the time to be involved with, and now all of a sudden they realize that they are actually getting accounts, or they're actually getting more work coming in, and they're building those relationships, and they're realizing that the return on effort that they're putting into doing these new things is really helping their business in ways that they didn't think it would.
Do you have here, let me pose this question pretty simply. Do you have a difficult time sometimes trying to teach an old dog new tricks?
Well, we say that, but we just compare it to different things, because when you think about a technician who becomes a master technician, there were a lot of things that they needed to learn. And they got excited about learning new things, and they had to challenge themselves and take on learning new equipment. Maybe it's diagnostic, and that wasn't their strong point, and all of a sudden they want to learn more about it, and before you know it, over time they become a master tech because they're honing those skills. They're doing the exact same thing as an owner. Now what you're doing is you're honing those owner skills, you're developing new skills, and then the goal is to master those skills. Yet look at it very similar when you went on that journey to become a master tech, because a lot of the shop owners that I speak to were technicians and still consider themselves technicians. Quick little story. is that when my husband and I opened up our shop, he had the technical background and he always thought of himself as a technician who now owns a shop. Identity. I'm a technician. I happen to own a shop. Whereas myself, I would go out to the different chamber events, never saw myself as a technician. I would get ready and I would go, and I was going in my mind, my identity was I'm a business owner. I'm a business owner who happens to own an automotive repair shop. Different mindset, different way of looking at it.
Mhm. So another question that I ask in every interview with a successful auto repair shop owner that's made it past that only 4% survive mark of 10 years is culture. I'm always asking them, how do you develop culture? Because without a really good shop culture, man, the shop's really not going to go anywhere. But the shops that have a really good culture, they don't even have a hard time finding techs. Techs hear about this great shop that's really great to work at, and a lot of these shop owners, they have the techs knocking on their doors. I'm at this other shop. I really, not growing. I don't feel he won't send me to training. And what is it that you do? I'm sure this is part of your coaching, right? How do you work with shop owners to build a winning culture in their shop so they can empower their teams to thrive and create that culture?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is something. And I can share a few things that we did in our shop. And these are things that I help clients with as well. So the big difference is owners are very self-directed. They know what they want to do and they're willing to go and get it, right? And sometimes their attempts are like, okay, this isn't working, but it's very different leading yourself and leading other people. So what I find with shop owners to really help them understand the difference between leading and managing, because we manage outcomes. We have to get this many cars out of the door today. This is the workload for today. That's an outcome. We're managing those activities. Leading is leading the people. Leading is giving them the resources that they need. Talking to them when they've made a mistake and they're down on themselves, letting them know it's okay. You're going to go back in. You're going to figure it out. Here are all the resources. Tomorrow's a new day. So they're not down on themselves. This is why, even outside of the automotive industry, we talk about team leaders, right? That's what we talk about. We talk about team leaders because leaders are leading teams. And we talk about project managers because managers are working on the outcomes, the outcome of the project. A lot of times we get confused and we think we're managing people. And when we try to manage people, what we're doing is we're actually trying to manage outcomes, and we're getting frustrated because the people aren't doing what we want them to do.
Right.
So helping people see that is really a good thing. That really helped me when I had clarity on that. It helped with the culture. It helped with empowering them, giving them the resources giving the resources and the tools that they need. And some of those tools are not just physical tools to work on the car. It might be a way to do something, a way to make a decision, a way that they're working with the customer and they know that they have the authority to make these decisions, that they don't have to go to someone else. Those are also resources and tools as well.
We always outline what success will look for our clients. I mean, do you do the same thing?
So, yeah, what does success look like for each shop owner? Well, it's going to be different. So here's what happens. Clients will tell me what success is looking like for them. So it could be, I want to grow my shop. That's what they'll say to me. I want to just grow my shop. And I'll say to them, okay, give me a number. What are you referring to when you say you want to grow your shop? Is it a certain sales number? Are you looking for a certain profit that you want, a percentage, right? What is it? I want this much net profit. I want to grow to this amount of sales. I want to grow my team. I want to become a bigger shop. So when they give me that number, because it's always going to be attributed to a number. It may even be, look, I am working 6 days a week. I don't want to work 6 days a week. I only want to be able, I want to, take a day off. I don't want to be working like this all the time. Okay, now I have a number that we can work with. The idea here is this allows them to dream. Okay, they now, what it ends up doing is when they start gaining back time, that time that they gain from taking these daily activities that they're doing and they really shouldn't be doing or don't need to be doing, it's just their comfort zone. It gives them that time to focus on real goals, like setting real goals down, whatever it is that they're looking for. We can see what the capability of their shop is. This is how many technicians you have. These are the days that you're open during the week. Okay, let's work backwards and figure out what the capability of your shop is. Now let's match that up with what you're doing today and figure out, right, what's needed. So clients are really surprised when we do this, how much they start getting excited and start enjoying their business again. They get excited about it.
Can you share a story of a client transformation and that illustrates the impact of your coaching?
Yeah, one of the clients that
You just pick one.
yeah, one story that I can share with you is a client that I worked with. He was he was kind of stuck in his ways of doing things, and once he realized that there were these things that he could take off of his plate, he had to have his hands in absolutely everything, and he was a micromanager. And he didn't realize he was a micromanager because he used to say to me all the time, but Mary Ann, this is my business. I can't let go. It's my baby. I want things done a certain way. So when we started talking about it and we realized the skill sets that other people had and the ideas that other people had, we tested it out slowly. And he started delegating and handing things off to other people in the team, the foreman, the different technicians. And they were excited because they were given more responsibility. He started sending people to training, and he saw the effect that this was having on the shop, the morale in the shop, the culture in the shop. And when we looked at this, he started getting out of the shop more. And he really enjoyed that. And he said to me that he realized that it was probably a couple of months in, maybe even close to 3 months in, that he said to me, he realized that it was his way of thinking of his role as an owner that really changed and made all the difference in the business. Because once he saw that role as being different, what he was really supposed to do, it made all the difference. So he actually gained back time and he didn't have to do all of these different things. And it made a huge difference in the building. His revenue started going up. His profits started going up as a result, because then we continued working together and we started working on other things. But you get one thing solved in your business, and it was like, okay, now here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to work on next. And I love seeing that in people, those light bulb moments and, good things happening to them.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks. I appreciate that. That's a great example because I think a lot of us micromanage and don't know it. I mean, that's the point. It's really hard for us to get out of our own shells, so to speak, and look at ourselves up here. Say, I'm the manager of Paul. Would I be doing this if I was Paul's manager? It's really hard for us to do that. Another question that I ask to every shop owner, I've never seen a shop successful that didn't manage finances well. So I'm sure, I'll look into my crystal ball here, that you, in your coaching, you get into financial. So, how do you help shop owners understand finances so it can drive their business growth or accomplish the goals that they want to achieve?
Yeah. So the banking background that I had really helped me in our shop. And I found for me, when I came into the industry, I found that financials was a big thing. Money is an emotional thing. Besides it being the foundation of your business. A business needs to have healthy profits so that it's sustainable. Otherwise, you can't provide good service and quality to your customers and your community. You can't give to causes. You can't provide benefits. There's a lot of different things. So businesses need to be profitable. They need to have a healthy profit. They need to be strong that way. So my banking experience really helped us with this. And when I started realizing that this was an issue, it was common. You're not alone if you're struggling or you don't understand the financials. It's a common thing. So what I do is I reverse engineer numbers. So what we do is we talk about here's where you are. Let's look at your financials. It's just to see where you are. Here's where you are. And here's where you want to be. So let's see if your shop has the capacity to do that. If you're a shop that has 2 technicians, but you want to have the output, you want the numbers of a shop that has 5 or 6 technicians, well, let's see, let's get those working and let's get your shop working really well, efficiently, be productive as well to the best. And then let's see about adding more. So the idea is let's see where you are. Let's see where you want to be. And then we're going to work backwards. Okay, to be at this number, let's see what you have to do a month, right? Let's see what you have to do a week. What do you have to do a day? And then we see what the capacity is. So reverse engineering it makes it very clear for shop owners to go in and track and see. And I have to say, here's another thing with financials. A lot of people have these guesstimate financials, I call them. We turn them into actionable financials. And when you turn them into actionable financials, I'm getting tongue twisted here. So they go from guesstimate financials to actionable financials. And they gain confidence because when you know your numbers in your business and you're confident with labor rate and all of these different terms that you'll hear, effective labor rate, when you're confident with all of that, it's amazing how easy it is to attract your ideal client, to speak to them, and to close sales. A thing that I find very helpful for auto shop owners is you're using tools already. You're using your shop management software. You're working with a marketing company. You're working with other people all the time. You have these services. A lot of times owners don't take full advantage of them. There's a lot that they're being offered and they're only using a small part of it, yet you're paying for it. So I say have a meeting with those service providers and understand how to use those to the fullest. Take advantage of that because they're there for you. They want you to succeed.
Right. Awesome. What does success look like for one of your, what does success look like for you as a coach?
Yeah. So for me, I have so many stories that are really like just rewarding aspects, right, of working with automotive shop owners. For me, I respect and admire the good people in the automotive industry. I came from the construction industry before. That's what my family was in. And when I came into the automotive industry, with my husband, he was already in it. I was like, these are so similar. They are some of the most grounded and real people that you ever want to meet. They are there to help others. And what happens to me is when a client realizes that they can actually thrive and not just survive, it's amazing. They take action and they share their wins with me. And it's really rewarding for me because it not only affects the business, it affects their family, it affects their team, their customers, their community. And to me, I look at them and they really are an example of the opportunities and success that someone can have in this industry. So for me, I mean, it's just really, really rewarding.
Right.
It's hard to put into words, but I get really excited.
That's cool. For auto shop owners listening, how can they tell if they're ready to invest in coaching? And what should they consider when choosing the right coach? So those are two different questions. So I spoke with somebody at ASTA Expo who said that they had a client that hadn't purchased a shop yet, and they were in their third month of coaching. So the
Mhm.
person is going to really hit the ball running because they got a coach that's going to help them not overpay for the shop. They're going to help them look at, oh, let me see those numbers. No, no, do you want to look at these numbers? I mean, so this person, whoever he is very smart because not only is he going to get, he's going to start off his shop like leaps and yards ahead from of somebody else, and his chances of success are much, much greater. So I can probably answer that question I just asked you. When should they get a coach? The moment they buy a shop or the moment they start thinking about buying a shop, that would
Right.
probably be a good time, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's an excellent time to do that. But a lot of shop owners don't see that, though, because a lot of them, when they go into it, they're relying on their technical skills and believe that the main reason, the main thing that a shop is going to do is repair or maintain vehicles for people. So, with that way of thinking, that's very common. You will get these outliers who come in and they're like, okay, I see this as a business from day one, and I'm going to get all the support that I need. But here's what, when they're thinking about coaching, whatever stage they're in, because some people have been in the business a long time, maybe the business was passed on from, another generation and now they've inherited the business or, they've had loss in their family and now they're going in and taking over. So there's a lot of different reasons why people end up, with a shop. But here's the thing, no matter if you're new or you've been in it for a while, what I would say is, are you interested in the idea of coaching or are you committed? The example that you gave, that is someone that is very, very committed. And it's exciting for me when I go to conferences and I see people that are very new in business and they're already in it and they're exposing themselves to all this knowledge. So the difference between being interested and committed, committed means that they're stepping out of their comfort zone and they're going to be open-minded to new ways of doing things and new ideas. They're not only looking at the ROI, oh, what is this going to cost me? What's the return going to be? Because if if you're in a right fit coaching, then the coaching, the results that you get are going to pay for itself. It shouldn't be looked at as an expense. It should be looked at as an investment. But
Right.
the other thing that a lot of people don't look at is the ROE. And that's the return on the effort because you're putting effort in to think a little bit differently, right? Step out of your comfort zone. So there should be a return on that as well. From that effort that you're putting in, you should see results. You should see things changing. And it may be your team sees a difference in you, and all of a sudden they're collaborating with you or they're giving you ideas where before they kind of didn't know how you were going to react to certain things, so they didn't do it. So your personal life should be better as well, because when you get that help in your business, as we were saying before, one affects the other. So your personal life, relationships, people may even say things to you like, wow, we get to see you more often. This is great. You can be more involved with your kids or, friends or different things that you've kind of put on the back burner, time for self-care, things like that. So it's really important. And the other thing too is no contracts. I think that's a big one. Don't feel that you're testing out a coaching company and all of a sudden you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in a 2-year commitment here and I don't really know if this is the right fit for me. I just kind of feel like before you know it, I was already in it. So everyone should be able to get a courtesy call, be able to hop on a call and see if you're a right fit. Just like you said, you do those types of calls, Paul. I think it's important for, yes, the coaching company is doing that because they want to know if they can help you, or if maybe something you need is something outside of their wheelhouse, maybe they can refer you to someone else. But I look at it as any potential client that comes in, they're checking to see if I'm a right fit for them. Is the personality right? Do they like my style? I always ask them, why me? Because I want to know what is it that connects? What is it that resonates? Because I want them to be successful. So I think those are important things to look for.
And I think that's kind of leads into my last question. What should the auto repair shop owner be looking for to hire a coach? So I think you just went over the main things: a connection with the coach, right?
Yeah, having them understand what your goals are, what it is that you want, and be able to, provide that for you.
Perfect. Mary
They're
Ann,
there to help you. There to help you, give you guidance, go through it. The owner, anytime you're in a coaching situation, the owner has to, do the activities, make the changes.
right? Yeah. Well, once again, I really want to thank you for your time to be on the podcast again. So, auto shop owners, it's Small Biz Vantage, BIZ, Small Biz, BIZ Vantage.com. Go onto the website, check Mary Ann out, and give her a call and have a little session with her to see if the two of you may be a good fit for your shop. Or if you're currently with the coach, but you just don't feel like you're getting where you want to go, or have that personalized experience that you're looking for, or for whatever reason, give Mary Ann a call. That's what she's here for. And you are at all of those circles of Vision, Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'll be at Vision. Yeah, next year we'll have Vision. I'm going to be at Apex too. I'll have a booth at Apex, so I'll be there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be in SEMA, so I'll kind of miss you there. So what about, do you go to NWACA, Northwest ACA in Seattle in March also?
I haven't been at that one. I haven't been at that one. There are a few, yeah. I haven't been at that one yet.
I just booked in, so it's about the same size as ASTA, and I spoke with the director yesterday, and I went ahead and booked in for there, so might want to consider that one also. All right, thanks a lot for your time, Mary Ann. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.